Sometimes some of the tracks can be a bit muffled, with the unassisted, and I like it, but I think with this, I can really hear his voice evolving. And, the guitar work is absolutely superb. I just love it. That in itself is quality. Well, really, really good.
Speaking of some of the songs like that, when they're unassisted, their song Hands, Dance Hands.
Yeah, Hands, fantastic. Yeah, I love that track.
Every time I hear that now, I think of there's a cartoon called Archer. And there's the one they talk about. It's very brief, but they talk about jazz hands, and it's one of the scientists who works for the company. They're like a espionage kind of company sort of thing. And the woman who owns the company says, I really shouldn't have taken Krieger to see The Wiz. And the woman with her goes, the live show or the movie. And they show the movies, like, at the end, it's like, jazz hands. She's like, both. And then they show the live one, jazz hands.
Did you see, because you remember when they did sort of the Kickstarter project, and they asked for kind of everyone to do little clips, and I know you did yours. Did you ever see the hands one? Because that was mine.
I probably did.
I actually did, like, really mental. It was a bit kind of, I don't know, left field. But it was, But it's. I think for that. I find this. You can really hear them evolving, and they're good, really working. Well together, and I can't wait actually, because they're writing new stuff and they're bringing out an album. I can't wait to hear kind of the variety within that album. I think it's going to be fantastic.
Well, that's right. No, and I've interviewed them a few times. We've interviewed them together a few times, and they're always a lot of fun. And the one more thing, and then we're gonna give Lemonade Kid a call here. The one more thing I want to mention, because I think about this a lot of times when I think of the interview. One of the interviews I did with them is it was one of the later ones. So I think we got on the topic of influences again, and Jay and Mark had a little disagreement because they were talking about guitars, and I think Mark says, pardon?
Was this one where in the studio?
I think so. Actually, I think that's the one, because I believe it was Mark goes, Eric Clapton's one of probably the greatest guitar to ever live, and Jason's he goes, debatable, but he
you know what Jason's like.
It was so quick though. So he's like, debatable, but no, let's get to the point. So we could have potentially sparked a little argument after the show was done. So.
Fabulous. That was classic. Brilliant.
So we're going to give a Lemonade Kid a call here, because we're going to talk about his new EP, and another new EP. This one's the one that came out today, or is it tomorrow? I believe is remixes, but the first one was it Synthesizer? The one that came out, okay, that came out a couple of weeks ago. Okay, so let's give him a quick call and let's talk to him, ask him some questions about the EPs. I feel like I should have the Jeopardy music going, right? Sometimes waiting for a Skype call to connect is like waiting for a Wi-Fi to connect.
Okay.
So it's calling, but
I can't hear anything.
Well, because he hasn't. He hasn't picked up yet, and it's just showing like a flashing bar of circles, literally.
Oh.
And there we have it. Hi, Dom.
How you doing?
Good. How about yourself?
Good. Yeah, I'm good. It sort of feels like I've probably spoken to you guys before, but I haven't really spoken to you guys before. But it feels a bit like, every time I listen to you, it feels like I'm in on a conversation, although not, if you see what I mean.
Well, for sure. No, that's the point. We want to make you feel comfortable, right? And that's makes things obviously a hell of a lot easier. But the one thing, just to let you know, is we all have to speak essentially one at a time, because if we don't, the other one can cut the other one off. If I'm talking and then you start talking back, B decides to cut in, it'll cut off one of us of what we're saying.
No problem.
Okay, just
I've actually got a cunning plan.
Oh boy.
I'll be quiet now.
That's it? There's no follow-up?
Like that. Oh.
Well, it is quite cunning.
I was expecting a follow up there. You just kind of left it.
I did. I know. I was waiting.
And scene.
So anyway, from my point of view, we've done a few tracks together, haven't we? Now.
Yep. Yeah.
And it's great. I mean, it's a real kind of honour for me that you've used some of my poetry. It's a real buzz, and yeah, I mean, I know you've got kind of quite a little team, haven't you, of people that you use for your tracks now?
Yeah. I sort of always refer to them as Lemonade Friends. So I mean, Lemonade Kid's kind of me, and then it's the other people who come in and do the work. And it's great to have people come in and do stuff, because that's what it's all about, really. If it was just me, I guess I'd get kind of bored and stop doing it. So it's nice, working with other people is kind of inspiring, I guess.
Well, the most recent one, actually, she's on Numbers on your EP that came out a couple of weeks ago. A Synthesizer is she's under the Twitter handle of Just Amanda. Now, yeah. I really like that one. Like, where did you find her?
We just, again, a lot of the people that have done the remixes are people that I've sort of met online, just people that I've got chatting to, just through a sort of mutual love of music and stuff. And Amanda's the same, that I sort of met her, and she's quite into electronic music, so we got chatting from somewhere, and then it sort of went on from there, really. So that's quite good that it can sort of work that way, I guess.
Now, since Synthesizer came out not too long ago, did you already have in mind that you were going to do a remix EP like not too long after that was out?
Yeah, I mean, it was always the plan, really, to get the remixes done. I think I kind of had a bit of a plan to have the remixes out. It was always going to come out after the original EP, and I sort of asked a few people to do them, and I sort of probably asked, I guess, maybe on reflection, maybe asked too many people. But I kind of thought that probably if I asked 10 people, if 4 did them, then that's an EP, and that's great. But I kind of asked 10 people, and 7 people did remixes, so it kind of worked out. And one guy's done 2 remixes, so there's 8 on the. It's kind of an album, or it's kind of a mini album. I'm not really sure which one. Whatever people want it to be is what it is, I guess.
Well, an EP really could be any length. Just like you said, it could be 3 songs, it could be 5 songs, it could even be 7 to 10, and they can still call it an EP. It's just a question of how it's generalized. I mean, but when you think of it too, most of the Weezer albums could be almost considered EPs, because most of them are only like maybe 35 minutes long. They'll have like 10 songs, but they're short albums.
Yeah. I suppose, I mean, it's over 30 minutes. I think the last 3 songs, they're all, the last one's over 6 minutes, and the 2 before that are like 4 minutes something. The first run of songs are all sort of 3 minutes something, so, it's over half an hour, so, but I call it a mini album, I suppose.
Right on. You know what, and just but before we go on to the next question, the one thing I was just thinking of, because you picked up and asked people to do remixes, is if you ever want someone from North America, I would strongly suggest you look up Sophia Vondel, and she's out of Brooklyn, and she's on Twitter as Vondel, and she's also done remixes for Analog Wave.
Ah, okay.
So
you'll have to send me that, because I haven't got a pen.
Yeah, I definitely will do that.
My memory's sieve-like, so.
No, all good. But yeah, I really like this EP. I mean, I gotta admit, Dom, I liked pretty much everything you've sent me, and it's been nice because you've been cranking the songs out fairly quickly, and like I've been enjoying it. And so have other people, and it's nice because the main show I do on Saturday nights, NMS, it's somewhat of a variety show for music. I mean, there's to a certain point, and it's nice to have the different electronica in there, especially from the UK. I mean, granted, it's spread out, but. It's been really cool, and I've got a lot of good feedback response, and I've been getting, my co-host has actually been getting really into electronica lately, partially because of you and a lot of other bands. So it's a good thing you're doing this way, and I can really enjoy it. So that being said, Synthesizer, it almost seems like it was an easy title to come up with, like for the album, or was it just one of those things you'd really have to think about, or you just said, you know what, this fits it, just because this is kind of essentially what it is.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, the song itself is about a robot that collects synthesizers. So I guess the sort of electronic music and everything kind of fitted in with those ideas, and then getting remixes done of an electronic song is probably easier than maybe one of the sort of slower numbers, or something a bit rockier maybe. But maybe next time, I don't know. We'll sort of see. I think now that we've sort of got some remixes done, then I guess it's sort of opened up some sort of different avenues to go down, which is really cool. So yeah, maybe the next one we get remixed will be something different, maybe something less obvious, perhaps.
Oh, fair enough. Well, I mean, that's not a bad thing. It's just something that I kind of noticed and kind of brought light to it. That's all.
Yeah, no, it's the really good thing about the remixes that have been done is, I mean, it's like I say, the sort of obvious thing is to do a kind of dancey thing, but there's one or two tracks on there which are kind of completely the opposite, and that's kind of what I was looking for. So that was really good, and I sort of, some of the people that I got in touch with to do them, I kind of had an inkling that they were going to come up with something, totally different. So that was great, and really surprising, I guess. Well, although not surprising.
Right.
You see what I mean?
Right on. B, do you have any questions? I'm sure you do.
Yeah. You're so cheeky. If I could slap you now.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Yeah, I was going to say, you do kind of have a speedy sort of method to bring out your tracks, which is really inspiring, and it is very cool because it keeps people on their toes. I mean, do you find that you're working, because I know you've got a lot of hons, so I mean, do you work into the late hours, or do you get into a zone, or what happens, with your work?
Well, I mean, I'm not up too late most nights. I like my sleep, so I managed to kind of fit it in here, there, and everywhere, really. I mean, I think the thing is, sort of over the last year or so, when I've just been making EPs, it seems kind of easier to kind of focus on doing a sort of 4 tracks at a time. Like, it's difficult to do an album, I guess, sometimes, although that kind of is the plan for later on in the year.
Well,
I mean, who kind of inspires you with your work? I mean, what's your main inspiration musically?
Do you know what? When I said to my girlfriend earlier, I said, "Oh, can you think of a couple of questions they might ask me later?" And that was her question: "Who inspires you?" And I said, I don't really know, but thinking about it, I mean, logically, I spend sort of in the real world, as it were. I look after my little boy, and I guess at the moment, he's kind of probably the most inspiring thing. It's really an inspiring thing to do, is looking after a child. You see different things every day, and it's that sort of thing. Maybe put something into perspective, I guess.
Does he? I mean, is he there when you're actually creating tracks? Is he kind of around when you're doing it?
Well, a lot of the time it'll be during his nap times. So
he's napping while you're making.
Yeah, that is probably. Yeah, probably when I'm supposed to be cleaning the house and stuff like that. I'm doing the music. So
I tell you what, big respect though, at home, Daddy. That's fantastic.
Yeah, that's it. It's probably the most sort of the best thing I've ever done, really. And I'm sure most parents would probably say the same thing, but it's a pretty exciting thing to do, I guess.
So when did you first? I mean, have you always made music? Have you been a musical person from very young, or is it something you've developed?
Yeah, I think even sort of thinking back sort of to earliest memories, it's either listening to music or making music. I can kind of, one of my earliest memories is sort of sitting there with headphones on, listening to Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds on vinyl on sort of an old record player many years ago. But sort of soon after that, it was just kind of, making up songs, I guess, as a child, and then sort of being in bands as a teenager and that sort of thing. And I mean, one of the bands I was in kind of 20 odd years ago was where I met my guitarist Jared, and we're still working together. So that's all good.
Great.
Yeah.
No, actually, speaking of Jared, he sent us a couple of things, and I feel bad 'cause I'm blanking on the name of this band right now. But
Wish Plant.
thank you.